Hi everybody! Hello! Welcome to You Two May Speak Good Words. Uh, we are on to the first section of a brand new book, which is entitled Acting in Shakespeare by Robert Cohen. And we're going straight to chapter 2 because chapter 1 is not worth a video. The reason I was making this face, ooh, at the beginning of the video is that this chapter has been monstrously hard to record. Uh, Robert came out swinging with this one, which is great. He gets right into some really nitty-gritty details, but the stuff that he touches on right away is also really hard to kind of explain and conceptualize. You know, in the introduction of this book, in the first video, I talked about how he does a wonderful job of getting into the nitty-gritty details of highly technical things. Really getting in there with a microscope and doing a very good job of explaining it. The problem is that re-articulating it can be very challenging. This lesson is only 4 pages long, but it is without a doubt going to be one of the hardest videos that I do. That's okay. So one of the things that Robert does really well is he includes a summary at the end of each of his chapters. That's just the best place for us to start today. All lines on stage are actions. Very good. That comports very well with my understanding of acting theory from a modern day perspective. But he goes on to discuss something called speech actions, which are worth defining. Speech act, that is, speech as action, where the speaker seeks with his or her words to create a specific change in the attitude, opinion, and behavior of the person being spoken to. Right? So you are achieving your objectives through speech acts. And these speech acts are also tactics, right? If you're like me, you're only vaguely familiar with the term tactics. It's a very popular method of acting teaching theory, but it's not one that I've interacted much with. But with tactics, you have 2 lenses that you look through. You can get what you want either through intimidation or through induction, like seducing. So you can shake your fist, or you can say, "Come to me seductively." So that is speech acts in a nutshell. Item number 3. I'm just going to read this verbatim. With a playwright as gifted as Shakespeare, dramatic dialogue is married to dramatic action, not just in meaning, but in sounds, rhythms, syntax, and imagery. You should study the works of Shakespearean speech not merely for their semantic meanings, therefore, but for their whole tactile impact on the hearers. That's big, so we're going to repeat it. You should study the words of Shakespearean speech not merely for their semantic meanings, but for their whole tactical impact on the hearers. Put a pin in that for just a moment. We're just going to wrap up our list. Item number 4, what does the speech try to do? How does it try to do it? How do I try to do it? These are the fundamental questions. Very true. So we're going to go back to point number 3. You should study the works of Shakespearean speech not merely for their semantic meaning, but for their whole tactical impact on the hearers. So, a lot of time, energy, and effort has been put into me telling you the importance of understanding what you're saying. That's very true. You should also understand how your characters are making that point, the arguments that they use, the rhetoric that they use. This book's going to go into that as well. So don't worry, we're coming back to it. But this is the beginning of a discussion on cadence. So cadence is the manner in which you speak a phrase. If we're talking about it on a singular word level, we describe that as color. How do you color the word? But cadence is the musicality of the speech line. And cadence isn't necessarily something that we went into great detail in Barry Edelstein's book, but Robert likes to get into very nitty-gritty detail. So let's just go to an example. So when I use the word cadence, I might also refer to it as syntax. I'll probably just stick to those 2 words. So The example that Robert gives us comes from King Lear very early on in the play. King Lear has just disowned his daughter, and the Duke of Kent chimes in to protest, presumably, but we don't know because he gets interrupted by King Lear saying the following: "Peace, Kent. Peace, comma, Kent!" Exclamation point. Then a big old blank space, a big old break in the blank verse. So, first, let's establish what our character wants. King Lear wants Kent to shut up. More specifically, he wants to put Kent back in his place. Kent has overstepped his bounds and he needs to get back where he belongs. That is what King Lear wants with Kent. And so, what is his speech act to Kent? It's to put him back into his place. How is he going to get it? What tactic is he going to use? In this case, it's pretty clearly intimidation. He's going to intimidate Kent back into his place. How is the speech going to support the act of intimidation? So, from a semantic point of view, just the straight meaning, peace, Kent. So, Kent, let's look at that. He doesn't call him the Duke of Kent or the Lord of Kent or whatever he is. He calls him Kent. He strips him of his title. He takes him down several notches and also makes an implication that I gave you that title. I can take it away. Right? Scary stuff. One might say intimidating. Peace, right? He's not saying shut up, Kent, or be still, Kent. He's saying peace. The implication is that Kent is the one that has brought violence. Kent is the one who is being disruptive. In the context of the scene, it makes a little bit more sense when you explain it that way, but take my word for it, why don't you? Okay, so we have the semantic meaning of the text. We have tied it into our threat or our tactic. I keep forgetting the word tactic. So how do we look at the syntax or the color or the cadence of the line to support that action? So we're going to feel the word in our mouth first and foremost. So peace. What do we know that's unique about the word peace? So peace, it's got that beautiful long vowel sound. That C has a very S quality, a hiss quality to it. Peace, Kent. Kent, we look at that. It's got a couple of glottal stops. So Kent is a hard glottal. Kent. Kent. It's a glottal plosive, as a matter of fact, because we've got air stored back behind it. Kent. And then it's, of course, got that nice crisp T at the end. Kent. You could hit that T with a hammer. And so we look at those two words, we juxtapose them, what makes them different. So peace, Kent, right? A very long vowel sound compared to a very short vowel sound. And then the other thing that Robert would have us note is that the S sound of peace seems to alide or glide or conjoin into Kent very nicely. It's not a word that separates out very nicely. So it is peace, comma, Kent, peace, Kent. But Robert suggests that that might not be the way that you want to do it. So at this point, we take a pause and we discuss something that's very important to Robert, the concept of play. Robert comes back over and over and over again to discuss Shakespeare's actors were called players in their time. That they were, weren't they? And so Robert is very much about trying different things, and so am I. So in that way, we're very similar. But he wants you to feel the mouth sounds, and he wants you to make changes, and he wants you to do this analytical work at the beginning, but then feel it in your mouth and kind of contrive how you want it to land on the audience. Let's talk about contriving for a moment. So, in the modern theatrical sense, contrived is bad. Boo. We're at a very naturalized point in the pendulum of performance. It goes from realistic, naturalistic, to stylized. And it swings back and forth, and it does it every couple of decades. Right now, we are in naturalistic, and we're swinging towards stylized. But right now, you're going to hear a lot of directors say, or a lot of actors who are trained in not being contriving your text in this way and feeling it with your heart and soul and delivering it in the moment on the stage. And if you put any effort into kind of how you want to say it or how you want it to impact the audience, that's working against that. It isn't. Okay? So, a couple of points to that. Robert makes the point that all theater is contrived. It's written down. It never happened. So don't worry about it. You're starting off with something contrived to begin with. I would temper that. I would alter that to say that you do this work in the beginning so you can put it aside and you can leave it alone and then you can live in the moment, right? These ideas, they're not antithetical. They don't work against each other. These are just more tools that you should be using to explore the outer bounds of what is possible with the text. You don't know how to use the text yet. That's why you're watching these videos. So just go along with Robert on the ride and don't worry about things being contrived or not, okay? So to go back into this example, we're going to play a little bit and you're going to watch me play and I'm hopefully not going to embarrass myself too much. So the line. Peace, Kent. So what was nice about that? I liked the pause at the end. Felt very natural, and it wasn't a pause; it was an action. Right? I was staring down Kent. I filled that blank verse that was empty with an action of intimidating Kent back down. What I didn't like about it, I felt like we could elide peace into Kent a little more. What I did like about it is that it was soft and subdued, but just because I liked it doesn't mean that we're going to stick with that. So we're going to try the opposite. We're going to elide heavier, and we're going to be a bit louder and more intense. Peace, Kent. Interesting. Let's try a middle ground. Peace, Kent. Right. So you feel it in your mouth. You go to extreme, so maybe it's peace, Kent. Right? That was weird. Peace, Kent. 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 And you just play with it. That's it. Play with it for a while. And then bring it back to what you liked best. So in this case, I think first take was one of the better takes. So, peace, Kent. And through the play, I've combined things subconsciously until we have a contrived delivery that makes sense within the context of the play. So we're then going to take a look at the next line. Come not between the dragon and his wrath. So peace, Kent. Peace, comma, Kent, exclamation point, big blank space, 8-syllable blank space. Come not between the dragon and his wrath. Now let's take a look at the words. Just from a straight semantic perspective, King Lear is not saying that he is like a dragon. He is saying he is the dragon. Come not between the dragon and his wrath. Wrath is such a delicious word, that big, beautiful, open vowel sound. We're running a little long, so I'm going to start abridging things. Come not between the dragon and his wrath. Peace, Kent. Kent, come not. So we examined that Kent shares a consonant sound with come, Kent, come. So Robert describes it as a little bit of a springboard. They say peace, Kent, and we're in the air. And then we splash come not between the dragon. And that beautiful T on not kind of reflects back into the T on Kent, come not between the dragon, and that beautiful elongated VE sound in between. And we take lessons from other books, historically, if we've got single syllables, that's a sign to slow down, and then when you get into multisyllabic phrases, you speed up. So let's import that into it. Peace, Kent. Come not between the dragon and his wrath. Right? King Lear is calling himself a dragon. Pretend to be a dragon, for Christ's sakes. Be Schmaug, why don't you? And dragon. You say that word dragon. Rah, rah, rah. Dragon already gets you snarling. You expose your teeth. So why don't you lean into that? Play a little, for Christ's sake, is what Robert is telling you. Play. Peace, Kent. Come not between. Oh, I'm already snarling. Let's dial that back down a little bit. Peace, Kent. Come not between the dragon and his wrath. Peace, Kent. Come not between the dragon and his wrath. Let's try it again. Peace, Kent. Come not between the dragon and his wrath. Threatening. Okay, everybody. So this was a hard chapter. The rest of them are going to be easier. They're going to be a lot less of me dicking around on camera. Thank you so much for joining. I hope that this video was at all useful to you. I love you very much, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.